Everyone wants to be a champion, yet only few achieve that goal. But tonight, we'll crown another. We could. Maybe so. Welcome along to the land of the rising sun here in Suzuka, Japan for round 10 of the Breakout Racing League Season 8 Tier 1 Championship and the Japanese Grand Prix. We are here in Japan, the country that has the 11th largest population in the world and is made up of over 6,800 islands. But on the mainland, however, 67% of the country is covered by forest and mountains. But today, we care not for the geographic makeup, but rather the action taken here on this historic circuit located in Suzuka. The Suzuka International Racing Course, then, is made up of 18 corners, 8 to the left and 10 to the right, which makes up the 5.8 kilometer or 3.6 mile circuit. And, well, it is the only one on the calendar that is in the figure 8 shape, and it has an average lap speed of 230 kph or 143 miles per hour, with 66% of the circuit taken at full throttle, thanks to that sole DRS zone down in the turn 1. Look for that to be the primary opportunity for overtaking here tonight. 3 more races, 3 more ranges of compounds. You have the Japanese Grand Prix, the American Grand Prix, and obviously the season finale at Brazil and Sao Paulo. But Pirelli tonight have brought the C3, C4, and the C1 compounds attire, with the C3 being the red-wooled softs, the C4 being the yellow-wooled mediums, and the C1 being the white-wooled hards. The alt strat or the main strat, which will prevail tonight? Many say it's going to be the main strat. The alt strat, not too powerful. We'll come and see. But the main story, however, tonight is Chandler versus Skither. 63 points is the gap, but Skither needs 52 exiting this Grand Prix to have a chance to take this championship next week to Coda. He needs to outscore him by 11 points. Can he do so? Is it possible? We'll find out next. Sanchez sits third, 77 points out. He also isn't quite eliminated from the championship, and he needs to outscore Chandler by over 25 points to take it. It's going to be very, very, very slim margins. It's probable, but is it plausible? We'll find out next here as Chandler actually starts his flying lap. Same with Sanchez. And Fern has actually been given a 5-place grid penalty. That'll be applied, well, to obviously the grid sequence. So that will be kind of a setback already for Fern, the Mexican. Well, Hoop sits fourth with a pair of Brazilians behind him, that being Vizzy and Kevin in 5th and 6th. Defending champion Bailey, who couldn't make it again tonight, sits 7th with Axe in 8th, Pirani 9th, and Raptor rounding out the top 10. But in the constructors fight, it can once more be locked here tonight, but it will take some dominoes to fall. Mercedes leads Haas by 63 points, and in order to clinch the title here, they have to outscore Haas by 26. Can they do it? Well, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Red Bull will all be in contention as well. They're not quite out of this fight. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all in contention as well for the title, with 6th being Ferrari, 7th Alpine, 8th Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, and Williams are 9th and 10th, rounding out the top 10 as well. Well, now, it's been a long and dreadful sequence, but it's finally over. You can finally, you can relax. But I'm Hickatcher, joined alongside by Miniko, and when it comes to Japan, it's known for its difficulty in overtaking. But for drivers like Chandler, however, that may be a good thing. If you can get towards that front half of the grid, like 1st or 2nd, that's all you need. Because, with that 11-point gap, he can win the drivers here tonight and become a 2-time champion in Tier 1. How will he go about that here in Japan?
I think the key in order to get this is really consistency. Obviously, he wants to be at the front, in which he usually is when it comes to racing in this tier. But as long as he keeps it consistent, he will be able to have a pretty good shot at it. But it's just a matter of where he lines himself up first. And as long as he doesn't get into any other incidents, right now, well, he's currently on provisional pole by quite a margin. So he's already setting himself up very nicely.
Yep, a 27.9 moves him up into first position on the soft, so he's already going to bail off of that alt strat any chance. Well, he's already crossed that one off the list, so he's going to be soft going race day, because there's no way, unless he finds the lap of the gods, to beat that one on the C2 compounded tire. Skither, though, has gone the other way. He's gone for the C2 mediums, and he's gone himself about 8/10 roughly off of Chandler of that provisional pole time. Ferrari, though, has gone about 8/10 off on the soft compounded tire, but everyone else so far who's done a lap, Feta and Waman kind of did a little bit of a back-off lap, I think, because I don't think 19 seconds is very representative of the AlphaTauri there. But he'll go again, which he actually is now going up through Dunlop. Yellow flag through, I believe that is down into... Actually, not anymore. It's gone. Well, don't worry about it then. But some drivers still on flying laps, one of them being Edu. Now there's a yellow flag on the pit straight and the hairpin. We'll see what the Red Bull can do, though. Edu, well, you can look back a couple of Grand Prix. He's had a lot of fun here tonight in Japanese Grand Prix. He's actually finished, I believe, the last 2. Let's see if he can make it a 3rd. Edu to the line of the Red Bull. He'll go up to P6. He'll go again, and hopefully trying to set a better lap than that one.
I know earlier before that you were talking about the alternate strategy not entirely being the best, but I'm seeing a lot of split decisions right now in terms of soft and medium. Around half the grid already has selected the mediums. It might be only bankers, but if they were to stay on that tire, that might make for a very interesting race. We'll have to see how that pans out and when it comes to the race if they stay on that tire. But one thing's for sure is that Skinner, very good lap time on those mediums, and he's just under 8/10 behind of Chandler, his championship rival. Though Jack is between them, and I think that's what Chandler also wants to see.
Yeah, it's the more cars between Chandler and Skinner, the absolute best. So, I mean, Chandler obviously wants to lock it up here. It's not going to be the end of the world if he doesn't, but, it'd be kind of a disappointment since he is, he's in that position to win it here. Same with Mercedes in the Constructors, so having it 1-2 for Mercedes, that could be perfect for what they need, because right now Skinner, other than Wexler down in 9th, who has yet to set a lap time, is right now flying the sole flag at Haas. Oh! And he may have to fly it a little bit longer because Wexler off at Spoon keeps it, I think, relatively clean. Did touch the barriers a bit, but not sure if any damage is on the Haas. I think he's okay. He still has about 11 minutes and 30 seconds left of this qualifying session to regroup and, go again. He could try to go on this lap on the medium compound tire. Never mind. He has completely obliterated the chicane into the barriers.
Saw a yellow flag at the end of sector 3. Fern actually spun coming around the final corner.
That would be Wexler, too, as well.
Oh, yeah, he did. You're right. And he's going.
Well, and there's the front wing.
Did he lose? Oh, he did. Yep.
Yep, he's not having a fun time. The last couple of corners not very pleasurable to the Haas of Wexrow.
Yeah, but luckily he is into the pits and he didn't retire, which is very crucial to be able to go again. But it's already proven that this track, once again, very tricky in terms of traction and just overall these curbs, because these curbs have been proven to be pretty deadly. So if they touch them, good chance you might spin out. Obviously, it's not a guarantee, but you really have to be careful.
You do indeed, and one of the traction zones is going to be most crucial for these drivers, especially come Grand Prix time, is going to be the hairpin. Turn 11, and, Raptor went through a couple seconds ago on the medium compound tire, which is nothing new to see the Alfa Romeo of Raptor on the medium compound tire. If you've been here the last about season and a half or so, you'll know exactly what I mean by that. But the Alfa Romeo now goes up the run in the 130 yard. His teammate Kevin is actually already ahead of him. Through 130 yard, the two Alfa Romeos go in a couple seconds time. Raptor will follow. There he is in the background there. Where will the two Alphas go? You see the highest driver on the medium compound tire. You can see is, once again, Skinner with that really good lap there, actually. It's, really good indeed. And Kevin goes up to P5, the highest medium runner now that has actually selected it. And Raptor takes that from him about 61 milliseconds quicker from the Alfa Romeo pair. So it's close between those two for 5th and 6th. Skinner, though, on the soft compound tire. He'll go again and see if he can try to go and beat that lap time set by Chandler. Well, can he do it?
Just saying. The fact that he did that time on mediums is honestly very impressive, getting it up on the second row. But obviously he's abandoning the ultimate strategy and going on to this sauce. We'll see what he can do. He has to find around 8/10 if he wants to supplant Chandler. The thing is with Chandler, every single race that he has showed up, except for one, he has been, or one or two, he's been on pole position. So he is the man in qualifying. He's been the man in the race as well. But that's one thing that Skinner has to be aware of as well. Every single race that Chandler's been to, except for one, he's won. Chandler has yet to finish outside of first, other than what was the wacky race of Belgium. So, if he wants this, he wants a huge mistake from Chandler.
Yep, that's the game, and right now they get that huge mistake from Chandler is to get him a little off balance, a little off-putted come race time, and really the best way to do that is to be ahead of Chandler come race time. So if he can get ahead of him either through qualifying or through off the start, that'll really put Chandler on the back foot, although he only needs to finish maybe, one or two positions behind, because if he finishes in third with Skinner winning, that is, he needs fastest lap, Skinner does, to take it on Dakota. But if Chandler finishes on the podium with Skinner, and has fastest lap, it's pretty much locked. If Chandler does not finish on the podium and Skinner does, there's a chance to go to Dakota. If Skinner does not finish on the podium and Chandler does, it's over. But Skinner now has a really good chance to put himself higher than Chandler with his qualifying lap, and he does not, but it's really close. 41 milliseconds. That is going to be a really close margin to come the rest of this qualifying session. But Chandler's on a qualifying lap third to Spoon in a couple of seconds' time. He could try to go in one better.
At the end of sector 1, he was the 10th and a half up already on his lap time, so he is definitely finding those improvements, leaving no margin for error on this track whatsoever. Going through the Spoon, now he's just on a simple blast down a straight. He's 2.5 tenths up, so he's absolutely flying right now. Through to 130 yards, got a little bit of traffic, but he'll negotiate that very nicely indeed. Now through the final chicane, and this is where the track gets very tricky. Is he able to nail it? Indeed, he does. Now going through the line, a 127.5, so he's increased that margin between him and Skither.
Wow, that's a really good time by Chandler. And, well, like you just said, increases that gap now to about 4.5, roughly, that is now separated between the Mercedes and the Haas. Jack is now on a slower lap, going to try to go back to the pit lane soon. Fern on a flying lap going through Spoon. Well, not anymore.
Oh, he's actually
oh!
Ooh.
Yeah, he has. That wiggle, that's going to become crucial in the race. If you can catch it, well, Fern was unable to that one time, and, well, now there's a little bit of a cheeky reset the track as well. But both Alfa Romeos, once again, ironically cannot seem to escape each other. They're both out. Now, once again, on the softs, everyone's out except for Wexrow on those medium compounded tires. That's what the times so far have been, right there in front of you.
I don't think Fern wants to be in the track, if I'm being honest. He's already lost his front wing on that straight. He's trying to put the power down, just full throttle, and clearly the tires are overheated, and yeah, he's just simply spinning it. He's lost his entire front wing, so he doesn't want to be in the track, I think, but we'll have to see.
Interesting to see, actually. We've actually seen a lot more invalidations this qualifying session, so that could be something to look out for come race time as well. That penalty going to be oh so crucial, especially with the DRS train coming up, because I mean, it's a staple of Tier 1 this, but especially at a track like Suzuka, I mean, you only have that one DRS zone, so that's your main opportunity to really overtake, barring a mistake. And speaking of, I believe there's a yellow flag somewhere. It looks like an Alpine letting through a, I believe that's an Alfa Romeo. But Ito to the line he goes. Will he improve on this time? We'll come to see. No, he will not, but he'll go, and kind of a warm-up lap that will be. To go put his soft compound tires up to a good, hefty position. He's already P10, so he has to actually improve on it if he wants to, get a little higher up the grid. So that'll be crucial, because that track position, oh so critical here at Suzuka.
Yeah, it definitely is. The second year in that train, that's where you want to be. By the way, going over to Feta, he's 8/10 up on his lap time. Purple sector 2, it says. Not sure if that's true or not, but we'll have to see. This is going through the final chicane, so if Edo wants to improve, he has to be aware of everyone else improving in front of him. But Feta is currently doing that, and he jumps all the way up to P3. A very nice lap for the McLaren.
Yes, it is. Very nice indeed for the Mexican. And that is Jack out at the exit of Spoon. And that is not what he wanted, nor what Chandler wanted for the Constructors' Championship. You see it with Waman right on the left-hand side, exactly what Fern had coming his way as well. And, well, that's going to stint his qualifying a bit. Right now he's P4, but how much farther will he fall?
I think probably what happened there is that he got onto the curb, and the curb just kind of unsettled the rear suspension, and it just simply gave way, and then he hit the wall, and now he's retired. And, well, that is going to be him done dusted. Yellow flag, sector 3, and Waman spun round.
Yeah, it's ironic, because you kind of mirrored the exact sequence for Waman. He got a little unsettled, and he spun right into the wall, and that's exactly what the AlphaTauri just had into the pit wall. He was actually on a decent lap, and well, the power, once again, playing critical. Edu goes up to 7th, by the way, so he does improve on that lap, puts him further up in the top 10, even more secured. Looks like that may be, well, for the time being, a decent lap, because that was Kevin, I believe, up to P5. Yes, it is. So the soft compound tires for that Alfa Romeo working wonders. His teammate right now outside the top 10. Raptor, though, going through Spoon. Looks like he may be on a cool-down lap as well. So right now, everyone except for Wexrow and Vizzy have completed times, even though Waman would like to go a little better on that time.
Just like you really had to remind me of what happened to me just a few minutes ago.
I mean, at least you didn't go 3 wide into a barrier somewhere. But,
Very true. Very true. I won't mention that any further, but yeah, that final corner doesn't like me, and well, I don't like it, so we'll just leave it at that.
There's numerous drivers across the, the midst of the Formula 1 calendar that does not necessarily like the final corner at Suzuka. I can think of one off the top of my head, Robert Kubica. Ah, yes, my brother.
Oh yeah, I remember that, 2019. That was a bit of a weird one, bit of an interesting one, needless to say, but yeah, definitely didn't go the way he wanted it to. I think most people are just settling into the pits as of right now, just trying to get onto their final laps. There's a couple of yellow flags around and about, but that might be because, 1, Edu is out of fuel, and 2, because I think that's Wexrow letting by Sanchez.
It looked, because I mean, he was at a standstill for a bit, and I was like, what's happened to the Haas? The other one, by the way, is on a flying lap again. Skither's going to go again and see if he can try to go unthrone and dethrone Chandler from that top spot. It's going to take a little bit because he's actually now retired. I believe that's in the pit lane, and Raptor does as well. He's actually going to stick to the alternate strategy. So once again, I've said it a couple weeks ago, and I'll say it again. There's about races. There's as many races that I can count on my hands that Raptor has started on the main strategy. And oh, Skither, a little bit wide in the grass there. In the exit of Dunlop, looks like he may have not been stinted. Actually, he was a little off by that first sector time, about 68 milliseconds, but he's backed off there. A little bit too wide through the Degnas. And, well, now he says some hello to Wahman as well.
Is Chandler performing a Sebastian Vettel 2013 at Singapore here? Because obviously there is a little bit of time. The Skither can still theoretically do another lap if he has the fuel to do so. But Chandler being a little bit, well, just being a little confident right now. He doesn't think that that lap will be beaten. We haven't proven otherwise, but we'll have to see. It's just really down to Skither, because Skither's the closest guy, but he's just under 4.5 tenths behind.
That's going to be the crucial moment, is does he have enough gas to go for another run? If he does, I mean, he's trying to get, the tires all warmed up, and he's keeping it in the higher gears, so it looks like he may be okay to go for one final flying run to go get and overtake, hopefully, in his mindset, for Chandler, and kind of get himself on pole, because that would be absolutely perfect come race time to kind of conceal and possibly try to make the most of the points he has, and he will go again. So Skither will go again and try to dethrone Chandler's pole. Sanchez on the other way is going up to Spoon. He's going to be the next one to cross that line with a valid time. And now that I said that, he's probably not going to do that. But here he goes through Spoon in the Aston Martin. Remember, he's not too far off the championship fight as well. He's 77 points back from Chandler. 78 was the cutoff into this race, and Wextro is retired. He will not set a flying lap. That is in the exit of Sector 1. Wahman has retired in the same place as well. And that may have distracted Skither a bit, maybe even hampered him. We'll find out come the exit of his flying lap. And here comes the Aston Martin. Sanchez, third of the championship. He needs a good chance. He needs to absolute perfect on his end and some dominoes to fall. Well, that's going to help a little bit better from fourth position on the grid. Feta may not make it. No, he's going to make it. He's going to make it only just. About 2 seconds was the cutoff. Checkered flag is now flown. Feta goes. Next one to the line, I believe, will be the Haas of Skither. He's going up to the Spoon now. So how has he fared on his first couple of sectors? We'll see. He's still valid, so that's a start.
And in Sector 1, he was 77 thousandths up on his delta, so not much time in Sector 1, but has he found enough to get anything in Sector 2? Well, he's just under 2.5, so he just needs to nail this third sector, and the third sector, very short, but when it comes to traction, it can gain you a lot. Is it going to be enough, though? Through the final corner, open the DRS. Can he spot Chandler? No! By just over a tenth.
Only just, and that's going to be the gap from first to second, unless Feta has anything to say about it, which I believe he's actually backed off. He was a tenth off. He may still be going for it. We'll find out. Sanchez is done. Ferrari Nut just goes up to 6. He nicks the other Ferrari-powered car, that now the lead one, that being Kevin, now to second. Vizzy to third. So that's a jump out of nowhere. For left field for the Alpine. He'll go in a great starting spot. Wahman is out of the race, or out of the qualifying rather. Roscoe, on the other hand, is going into the final chicane. Can the Williams do anything about this position? Fern is done. Roscoe through the final couple of corners. Feta is not too far behind. Can Roscoe and the Williams put himself higher on the grid? He cannot. He stays 10th. But what about the Mexican? Fourth position. Off the track, almost in shades of Robert Kubica. And that'll be qualifying over then. Chandler ahead of Skither, crucially for the championship.
Yeah, Chandler started the pole position, and not by a comfortable margin this time around. It's a bit close between the front two. One thing's for sure, he is ahead of Skither. If he finishes ahead of him no matter what, then that's the championship wrapped up. So he's going to want to maintain that going into turn 1 and throughout the entire race, because that DRS and that slipstream, it can be pretty powerful given they get the right exit.
Get your calculators out. We'll need it a lot during the race, because that's the gap you need to look out for. 11 between Chandler and Skither. If Skither outscores Chandler by 11, he takes it to Coda. If he doesn't, well, Chandler can be crowned right here in Suzuka, where there's been 13 other champions crowned here in real-life Formula 1. Can we make it a 14th with Chandler? We'll find out shortly. But qualifying done, Chandler takes pole position again. That's kind of been the story of the season. Every race that Chandler has started, he's either, well, gotten pole or gotten the win. And, well, on most occasions, he's gotten both. But Chandler on first, and I believe I'm actually in a car. That is not good.
Oh, no. Did you forget to
really
press Y? Good job.
That is really not good.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention, by the way, Fern also with that high-place grid penalty, so he'll jump all the way down to last.
Oh, that is really not good.
One thing's for sure is that Raptor is promoted up to P11, so he's in the best spot if he wants to do his signature alternate strategy. So we'll see what the Alfa Romeo can do with that. Woman will be promoted up to P12. Wexrow, without a lap time, will go up to P13, but Fern, unfortunately, with that collision, down to P14. But that's not what we're focused on. It's the front two. Chandler, Skither, front row start. How's it going to play out? We may never know. Well, we will know, but not now.
Well, this is horrible then, because I have to retire in the pits. Ooh.
Yeah, have fun. Not the first time that we've had... Well, it might be the first time for you, but there's been a couple times where I've seen that happen, so... Yeah, you're gonna have some fun, aren't you?
Wait, I have an idea. Can I leave and not take control of my car?
As long as you press Y when it comes to the lobby, I think so.
I'm going to try that.
Alright, well in that case, there you go. There's your invite. Happy days. Bit of technical difficulties, but rather one from the person, not from the game for once.
Hey, wait a minute.
So if you guys see a random Red Bull just driving on the track, yeah that's Cash's AI. But don't be distracted, please.
Why? There we go.
Was it taking a while?
Man, pain.
What?
Me being the dumb. Dum-de-dum-de-dum.
That wouldn't be the first time, let's be real.
Hey.
You can't say I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. That's the problem.
Exactly.
This happened before, I think. So.
Oh, well, so it wouldn't be the first time for you.
No, it's not the first time. I haven't learned.
that definitely isn't the first time of you not learning.
Oh, is this still the formation? Oh, perfect.
Yes, it is. You've got to come back just in
Would
time.
you look at that? I have.
Yes.
All right, well, then get this back underway.
Technical difficulty, but we're good.
Well, then, ignore that one. This car right here, just ignore it. Doesn't exist.
Can we put a black bar over P15? Can we just get that? Someone edit that in, please.
Yeah, please do that. All right, to the actual race itself then. A season ago, it was a McLaren. It was a Mexican, but unfortunately it's not either of the two that are in the race, because actually, ironically, both McLaren drivers are Mexican. But it was Pierre Louis who came home victorious a season ago in the McLaren. And can another McLaren take charge and take that victory here tonight? We'll find out after the 27 laps of the Japanese Grand Prix. And, well, it already happened, but an AlphaTauri took pole position for Wallman. He wishes that's what happened. Instead, he got a rather less than par qualifying session indeed. But speaking of qualifying and speaking of pole, Chandler has a little bit of stats on his side. 47% of all Japanese Grand Prix have been won from pole. So if that's a stat that will be continued on, Chandler will be absolutely delighted to grab another Grand Prix victory, but more crucially, the championship in Tier 1, his second in his career in Breakout Racing League. But like I said, a little snippet in qualifying, there's been 13 championships decided here at Suzuka. Most notably, you remember the most notable ones in 89 and 90. Senna v. Prost. One happened right here, and it was controversial. The next happened just a few moments later, the next following year, in turn 1. We have 2 championship protagonists and 1 corner. Will it happen again? Will we see shades of Prost and Senna? What will we see at the end of this 27-lap race at the Suzuka International Racing Course? We'll find out next. Chandler from pole, Skither right beside him. The Japanese Grand Prix is next. We wait for Fern to go up to the Grand Prix starting line. A little bit further back, so that's actually going to hurt a tad bit the tires, but not too much. Well then, 3 races to go. The championship, both of them could be decided here. Let's see what Suzuka has in store. To the lights we go. Championship hopefuls on the line. Championship on the line for both. And it's lights out and away we go. And a really good reaction time from Skither. I believe he actually got a really good start time, but he got bogged down in the second phase. Chandler will get ahead. It's going to be Skither from Busy. Around the outside, it's going to be Sanchez. He'll try to look for the position in third. He will try, but not succeed. He's still going to be side by side on the 4. It's going to be, look at this, on the inside, Aston Martin. Sanchez ahead of Busy, but Chandler still leads Skither.
Yeah, that's absolutely crucial going into turn 1. He's possibly going to try and build that gap, but obviously with that slipstream, it's not going to help him in that case. So if he wants to pull it, he needs to get it done now. But right now, Skitter's staying closely behind. Everyone's staying closely behind, and a relatively clean start for pretty much everyone. But Fern, they're already up to 9th and 10th on the alternate strategy, which may pay dividends later on. But Chandler, that's a start he would have wanted to see.
And it's been a great for Sanchez. He actually went from 5th to 3rd in 1, maybe 2 corners, make the move sick, and got that position great, because now the championship 3 are the top 3. In direct order, Chandler, Skither, Sanchez, we would not have had it any other way. But one trip around the Suzuka International Racing Course down. Just a couple of more corners to go to complete the circuit lap. But Chandler from Skither, about 5/10, and you have Sanchez that far back. Busy almost out of DRS already.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely crucial later on. Meanwhile, further back, Raptor has gotten past Wallman, and he's now up into the top 10. Interestingly, Raptor's not selected the alternate strategy. It looks very weird, but he moves, but he is up to P10. But Chandler leads the first lap, sets the fastest lap, and is actually... Oh, there's a bit of front wing, actually. I think Vetta's had a moment.
Yes, he has, and I believe there was even more of a moment in the back with Wallman checking up, and here comes Roscoe. Vetta and Florian ahead, and Roscoe and Wallman behind. Roscoe will go around the outside of 1 and get ahead of the AlphaTauri only just. And Vetta has had a moment. He has no front wing. The right side end plate off of that McLaren. That is going to be him all the way down the order, and he will force to be pit. Well, oh, off the track. Look at this, 3 wide in the Dunlop. That won't work. It surprisingly did. Vetta, on the other hand, no, it did not. That's Roscoe around the exit of Dunlop. That has not gone well.
I don't think he got any damage from that. If he did, it's very marginal. But yeah, going 3 wide there definitely did not work. And that's an AlphaTauri spun around. That's Wallman. He spun around for the second Dunlop.
It's under the bridge. He goes again. Looks like he's okay as well. But 2 spins in the span of about, 3 or 4 seconds. That was crazy indeed for those corners. A lot more crazy than the start. But Skither is even closer to Chandler. He knows he has to get a move on now, because the more gap he can put between Skither and himself and Chandler, the greater opportunity he has. Because, the moment right now, Chandler controls the pack. He controls exactly what can happen on in this race, because, there's no chaos in front of him. If he controls himself and keeps Skither behind, it's done. It's dusted right there. Chandler is controlling the pack perfectly right now. But if Skither can get past Chandler and push him enough where Sanchez gets past him, chaos can ensue. But right now, chaos will ensue. DRS opened, and we'll be able to use next time by.
Yeah, and that's going to play absolutely crucial into this race. Busy, by the way, with the fastest lap. He's caught up right onto the back of these guys. So clearly finding a lot of time in the clean air, and that's proved crucial. Meanwhile, Vetta and Wallman into the pits, unsurprisingly, due to having damage. I think Wallman might not have... Oh, no, Wallman doesn't have damage. Vetta definitely does. But that's absolutely ruined their race.
Yes, it has. And that's going to be a situation where they're going to hope for safety cars or hope that they can make those medium compounded tires last the entire rest of the way, which is going to be a tall order. Is it possible? We'll find out at the end of this Grand Prix. But right now, Chandler... Oh, Jack! Jack is around, and that's not going to be good for the Constructors' Championship at all. Same place that happened for the AlphaTauri of Wallman just a lap later. So Jack around to the exit of Degna 2.
We set this track and portrait to drive that point, as Jack is the latest of the victims to have a spin, but luckily he's managed to keep it going. But yeah, once again, you have to be consistent around here if you want a shot of anything. And right now, that is the case for the top three, but as for everyone from 12 down, it's not been the case.
Look at this. Skither was really close at 130R. Wyman goes around again. Not very good start of this Grand Prix that he wanted, but Skither has a chance. He has the DRS this time. He doesn't have as much of a run as he didn't have the exit of 130R, but he will have the run now. The DRS, the slipstream, the overtake not on anymore. Side by side, the two championship rivals down into turn one, and Skither will get ahead of Chandler. So that's one move done. Now he just off the podium for a chance to keep this championship alive.
Yeah, Chandler not really fighting that because he knows what he needs to do. He knows where he needs to be. So if Skither were to take the win, he's like, that's fine. I'll just stay right behind you. That's exactly what he's doing right now. But obviously with that DRS, he might get past later on. Just a matter of staying there.
Well, we'll see here. Now Sanchez is going to have because now he has to get through Chandler, and that will get some points gained if he can get past and stay ahead. But he wants to get this championship alive. Will it happen? That we'll have to find out. But those are three podium sitters right now. Let's talk about Busy. Busy's had a fun time in the last couple of races, a couple of podiums this season already in his debut season. He's having a fun little blast. As Wyman, on the other hand, has not had that same fun little blast. He's actually out of the Grand Prix, and the pit lane he goes.
Yeah, clearly just calling it that maybe he's making too many mistakes and be potentially causing a hazard, and well, that would be the decision. And unfortunately, he's become the first retirement of this race. Meanwhile, there was a yellow flag in sector 1. I believe Feta's had a moment. Managed to keep it going, though, so luckily for him, no damage for the McLaren. No safety car, crucially, for the front, too, because if there was a safety car early on, it could have a couple of people staying out. It may cause a bit of chaos, but right now, that isn't the case. Skither still leading, takes the foul. Chandler staying nicely behind. He's fallen a little bit back, but obviously with that DRS, just able to stay there.
That's going to be crucial. As long as he can stay away from Sanchez and stay up to Skither and keep him within eye's view, there's absolutely no threat for the championship for Chandler. He can pretty much ride here, but there's still a long way to go. You can't get ahead of yourself too early. Feta, a 3-second time penalty, and I believe that is 3 as well for Wexrow in the Haas in 9th. So right now, on lap 5 of the Japanese Grand Prix, 4 down, 23 more to go. Skither leads Chandler from Sanchez from Busy. If you missed and just now tuning in, welcome along. And you missed kind of chaotic first opening laps with a couple of cars going around. Feta getting front wing damage, and Wyman obviously retiring a couple of seconds ago. Feta maybe actually then to join him as well. A 5-second time penalty, and there's the retirement for the McLaren there. So 2 down, 13 drivers still on the card, but we just ignore the 1 in 11th. We just don't talk about that one.
Yeah, in reality, the person in 11th is non-existent. In fact, actually, I just wiped it off the face of the earth. So instead we have 12 drivers. So
good.
Going on from that.
Absolutely perfect.
Exactly. Good. Get them out. We're done.
We don't need them anymore.
Well, we definitely need the top 3, that's for sure.
That's exactly true.
There's a bit of a lock-up there for Chandler right there, but luckily he's managed to still stay within that DRS. He's fallen a little bit far back, so in sector 1, 2, and nearly up to sector 3, because he nearly lost DRS there.
Yes, he did, and that would have been crucial for Skither if he could got that out of his harm's way. And, well, there's a battle between the Alfa Romeos then. Kevin and Raptor, they'll switch around. Kevin goes behind his teammate Raptor up to 7th. And, well, not on the alt-stripe for once, but he's still making it work regardless.
Can we just give a quick mention over here to a certain McLaren in P6, that being PSR Fern on the mediums. Look at how many positions he's got on. He's got 8 positions off the start. He's had a brilliant race so far.
Yes, he has. That's been absolutely crucial for Fern. Remember, he had not so fun of a time in qualifying. Well, he made up for it so far in the race. With this first stint, 5 laps down, he's already up 8 positions. Well, I'm not very good at math, but that's more than a position a lap.
Completely off. No, you're definitely correct on that, and he is chasing down Ferrari. He's gotten within the DRS as well, but he's kind of losing a little bit though on the straight. That may be saying that he is losing a bit of ERS. He's possibly blinking on the straights, so he's utilizing that to his potential. But unfortunately, that might cost him later on. We'll have to find out. Yellow flag, and that is Edu around.
Wait, what? Oh, Edu. I thought you said you.
Edu
That would have been hilarious. The AI spun around. He was around. Look at this. Either teammate. Hey, catcher. I'm kidding.
I thought we said we wiped them off the face of the earth.
You're right.
Meanwhile,
is now.
the lead
that's
is
really close then. Yeah, they did.
Unfortunately, Chandler he was getting with that DRS, obviously, but since the straight is just not long enough, he wasn't able to get alongside and make the move into turn 1, so he's going to have to stay behind for another lap. But as far as he's aware, as long as he doesn't crash, he's like, alright, that's fine.
That's going to be the main strategy here, especially for Chandler, is to just not get any penalties and hope everyone around you does. Because, I mean, if Scalar grabs a penalty, he could stay right here and win the Grand Prix as long as he keeps it on the track. And, well, right now, there's still, the laps are ticking down, but there's still a long way to go before this Grand Prix is even close to being decided and this championship along with it. But, well, we have one question to ponder now. Pit stops are coming up. I'm thinking about lap 9 as a target. Who decides for an undercut? Or, on the other hand, we could have a safety car.
That's it.
Edu around and out of the Grand Prix, and that's a safety car. So there goes that. Flip everything upside down. Everyone's in the pit lane now. Fern, Wexer, I'm sorry, but what do you do?
Possibly stay out, cause a bit of chaos, you never know. But, or maybe they could pit onto a set of sauce and go the distance, as actually Fern's left the session, which is good. I'll try to invite him. But yeah, I suspect that everyone is going to pit, which isn't surprising considering, well, it's exactly in the window.
Scalar's in, and everyone's going to follow in with him. Chandler, Sanchez, both are in. As long as they don't get any little contacts in the pit lane, it'll all be good. Busy, Fern's in. Fern is in. Raptor goes in as well. I'm sorry, Fern stays out, rather. Kevin's in. Wexro will actually come in. Roscoe around 130R. It looks like he may come in because, I mean, the softs cannot make it to the end of the Grand Prix, and plus he has yet to stop, so that would be a pretty no-brainer there. Jack gets saved from that because, I mean, he's now exiting Spoon. His race definitely has been saved by that safety car, but Fern stays ahead, and, well, now it's playing a game of how risky do you want to be. Chandler on the softs, that has not gone well.
I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Obviously, he will have to pit later on to a set of mediums. But I'm wondering what Chandler's thought process is there. Obviously, he might be possibly guaranteeing another safety car. Obviously, that's not always a guarantee, but if he is, that could be smart thinking. But that is a very interesting...
And he's going to have to absolutely bank on a safety car because he can't pit for mediums now because he'll be behind, well, everyone, basically. So, and that would pretty much give Chandler a, well, kind of an anchor to the back of his car because, I mean, you have to get through cars around you. And obviously, he is quicker, but the dirty air is going to be absolutely critical to that charge that Chandler could have. So if there is no safety car, well then, what do you do if you're him now?
Well, he would have to pit no matter what, because obviously that he wouldn't be meeting the tire allocation of the compounds that they give you, so he'd have to go into the C2 tire, and it'll definitely hurt his race unless there is a late safety car. But if that doesn't happen, that is going to be the chances of him locking the championship out the window. So he needs to be careful about this.
Yeah, unless something absolutely dramatic happens, it's pretty much looking kind of bleak now for the Mercedes driver, Chandler, and definitely for Mercedes in the constructors because Jack down in 12th, and right now Haas is actually outscoring the Mercedes team, and Mercedes have made a decision. Chandler's in. I'm not sure if I like that call.
Wexro is in as well, so Chandler has gone into a set of mediums. So there it is. So he's definitely going to go to the end on that tire, but that has absolutely ruined his race. He was net P2, but now he is net P9, I would say, because Wexro has pitted. Fern, the only one yet to pit, but this is definitely throwing a spanner in the works for the Mercedes. Not just one, but two.
Exactly. So right now it's going to be absolutely crucial. Ahead of Wexro. Yes, he has. So Jack's got ahead of Wexro, so that helps. And obviously Wexro started on those mediums. Did he pit when that chance got the softs on, then immediately pitted for the mediums he already used and satisfied that allocation. But right now, Fern is the only one that has not, so he's going to try to hold off, probably go on the soft competent tire if it is viable, which right now would be probably the perfect strategy because he does not dare touch the hards. Everyone on the mediums, we don't talk about the 1 and 8. So right now, it's to the end for all except for the Fern. Has to stop once more.
I just got a little bit of a humor thing going on. Obviously, you know what was going on, but there was a bit of things going on later on before this race saying that Tier 2 driver was going to be in Tier 1, but obviously they decided, you guys decided on the ladder, but who's in P8 right now?
It's the Tier 2 champion. No, I'm kidding. Nowhere near.
You're nowhere near that. I don't know what you're on about.
Because one can dream.
You're right. I mean, you almost won it in Season 6.
Wrong.
Oh, it was 5. I forgot.
I was too busy getting 10th every race in Season 6 to, even come close to that.
Yeah, you're right.
But, by the way, if this goes to plan and Chandler does end up winning this championship, it may not happen this race, but it could happen eventually at the end of the season. There's still a long way to go, and Fern is actually not in the session yet.
I didn't invite him, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
Well, then it's going to be a little bit of an interesting go-ahead then, because Fern is actually not in the lobby, so it'll be controlled by an AI. So when will the jump be made? We'll find out. I think it's going around now, and it has gone now. So Skither is going to go up to Fern, who's not in the session now. And if he can get through on Fern now, it'll be crucial, which I don't think he has. Not even close. So Sanchez is third, Busy fourth, Ferrari not to fifth, hounding the back of the Alpine. Chandler on Roscoe already.
Yeah.
Made the move already.
Yeah, he's wanting to get those moves early, and he's gotten one already. Now he's on the back of a Red Bull driver of sports. I don't know who that is.
It's actually an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, you're right. But no, he's easily negotiated that. But now he is on the back of this train and is now behind the 2 Alfa Romeos. Skither, Sanchez, and Busy all getting past Fern already. So Skither once again retakes the lead. Sanchez up to second, Busy up to third, Ferrari now up to fourth. So he's had a bit of a quiet but solid race for him. Raptor up to fifth, Kevin sixth, and then obviously everyone will follow suit since Fern isn't here, as Chandler does exactly that.
Yes, he does. So that's crucial. That's now 2 positions up. So now, actually, I'm sorry, 3 positions up from the safety car restart. So Chandler is now making inroads, but it's going to be difficult on Skither, who has a clean track ahead of him. But Sanchez is going to be now the one to hound him rather than a, Mercedes car. Ironically, it is a Mercedes car, but not the right Mercedes car. So Chandler now closing out on Kevin and a pair of Ferrari-powered cars, 2 Alfa Romeos and a Ferrari. As Roscoe gets past Fern, that'll be for the 9th position, and Wextra will be soon to follow.
Yeah, he definitely will, though. One thing's for sure, Skither's almost pulling a gap from Sanchez already, almost that 1 second gap. He's just set the fastest lap. He knows what he needs to do, and he's currently on the road to do so. And if he can pull this gap on Sanchez, that's going to be absolutely crucial, because then he's just going to have a clear run to the end. Granted, he doesn't make any mistakes.
It's going to be crucial to do so, because, now, if Chandler even gets up to that position, which we're assuming he will, if he does get up to that position, which is going to be very difficult, he then not only has to go and try and overtake up to second, but then he has to pull a gap, close on Skither, who already has dropped to the DRS of Sanchez.
Once again, proving absolutely crucial, so Skither can now, I wouldn't say stretch his legs a little bit, he's going to want to pull even more. By the way, Chandler all over the back of Kevin going into the hairpin. He's going to think about going down the inside, and he does. Kevin does leave him in the space. Chandler with the inside. Does he get a better traction from the Alfa Romeo? Not quite. They're still going wheel to wheel now through to turn 12, and Kevin having that inside, not able to make any inroads. Chandler managing to go around the outside, and then on the inside in the spoon, and that is Chandler up into P6.
That's crucial, and crucially, he actually stayed within the DRS range of Raptor ahead of him, who's kind of marginally in the DRS of Ferrari not ahead of him. So the DRS not available yet. It will be available in a couple of laps' time. Sanchez is at 1.5 seconds off of Skither. That gap has grown tremendously, but now it's going to be up to what can Busy do on Sanchez and what can Chandler do on everyone else. Is he trying to go march through the field? And Skither, another fastest lap, really stretching his legs now.
Yep, he's wanting to prove that he can still have a shot of this championship, especially since Chandler down the order. And obviously it's stuck in a DRS train, but he doesn't have the DRS. So everyone in front of him does. So he's going to have to be careful that he needs to make that time up, in which he's already pretty much doing so. He's gotten right back into the DRS. So cancel that out. He just needs to get closer onto the back of the Raptor. But Sanchez is now the lead of this DRS train. But he has a bit of a gap to Busy. That DRS train a little bit spread out.
Well, that'll be the gap now. Down to about 0.5 of a second, now about 6 between Chandler and Raptor. as, well, the gap between Sanchez and Vizzy has actually gone up just a tad bit, about 2 tenths of the second. But Sanchez now about to be 2 seconds behind Skither and the Haas. An absolute great performance so far from Skither. And so far the entire season, whenever Chandler was not there, he's picked up the pieces and put himself in this championship fight absolutely brilliantly. But now it's going to be up to Chandler. Can he charge through the remaining 4 drivers to get up to second place once again or back on the podium? Because remember, if Chandler gets on the podium and Skither gets first with fastest lap, if he gets third, for example, that is 11 points, and that will bring the championship on a week from now. So he needs to get either second or get third without fastest lap. With fastest lap if he wants a chance of clinching the title now. But right now, it's going to be bleak. He has the DRS.
He's just kind of stuck where he is right now because he's not close to the back of Raptor, and Raptor just on the fringes of Ferrari's DRS. So he's kind of in that awkward position where he can't really do anything. So he just needs to play patient right now, and hopefully some of the drivers in front of him make a mistake.
Mistake, and that is a mistake slightly from Raptor, so that's going to be exactly what he needs. He wants to get him into Degno 1. He's not going to be close enough to do so, but he can look for a move. He can stay right there on the Alfa Romeo's rear end. He could possibly look for a move down into the hairpin, but I believe he's a little bit too far out this time. Roscoe with a 3-second time penalty. That'll be applied at the end of his lap, or at the end of his race for multiple warnings and track extensions. But Chandler now has to get through on Raptor, but if he does, he needs a little bit of a time gain to get to Ferrari Nut, because there is no DRS assisting that Alfa Romeo now.
Yeah, it definitely is. But one thing's for sure, we know Chandler has the pace, but obviously with that DRS, it helps the drivers in front of him. So he needs to put in basically qualifying laps to count to the back of these guys. But that's not important right now because he needs to get past that Alfa Romeo right in front of him, which he is gaining into 130 yard, but he's not going to be close enough to make the move there. Could have a look into the chicane. He's closing a lot backside of it. He's thinking better of it. He's going to utilize that DRS going down into turn 1.
Yeah, that was crucial because if Chandler went for that move on on Raptor, Kevin's teammate, which by the way, he's going to easily get through on Raptor now. Well, Raptor would have just gone back at him with the DRS. So trying to by the way, look at Kevin making a move on that Alfa Romeo. So now Raptor stays ahead. Kevin went to the far left. Raptor defended, but Chandler got through. But if Chandler would have made that move into the bus stop chicane there, Raptor would have just gone back at him. But Wexrow and Roscoe battling for 9th position. The Williams gets ahead of the Haas. And that's to be for the fringes of the points, with, I believe, Fern still not being in the session. But Chandler's up to 5th. He only needs a couple more positions if he wants a chance to hold this championship and clinch it tonight.
I tell you what, he's gained a lot of time through the Sector 1, purple Sector 1, actually. So he set the fastest Sector 1 out of this race, which could prove crucial, but he still needs to find around half a second if he wants to get within that all-crucial DRS, and he's actually losing time here because the drivers in front of him have a little bit of slipstream, and Chandler doesn't. Again, that's why this DRS train is so crucial.
Yeah, because it not only propels you, it propels everyone else around you, so you could be a lot faster behind. But if you don't have that DRS, it's not going to mean anything. So Chandler has actually lost the 10th because of that slipstream. They've gained a bit. But now Ferrari is in that DRS of Vizzy. Vizzy's in the DRS of Sanchez, but only just for both of them. So it will not be close enough this time for any of them to try to make a move. But Chandler looking close enough. Raptor and Kevin will be brought along with him. If Chandler's not careful, he may actually go under threat from Raptor or Kevin, the 2 Alfa Romeos behind him. But right now, it looks like the Alfa Romeos may actually go for a little bit of a scrap into the turn 1. He's not close enough, Kevin, this time.
Oh!
He tried. He wanted for it.
Bit of a moment for Sanchez out of turn 2. I was going to mention he was gaining a little bit on Skither ahead, but he's just lost the rear at the exit, and now he's costed a bunch of time, and Vizzy all over the back of him. But just obviously with Sector 1, not able to make a move.
And look at that. Now Ferrari Nuts there, which is going to hold them up through this section because of the dirty air, which could bring Chandler in. You already see him. He's gained about 4 tenths, going on to 5 in a couple of seconds' time. So Chandler may actually have a really good shot to go and catch this train and grab that P2 if the mistakes keep rolling in from this pack in front of him. But Chandler now kind of dropped Raptor, but Raptor now has to worry about his teammate Kevin and Jack behind him. So just as he thought, he got rid of one Mercedes, the other one's coming through.
I tell you what, he is on the fringes of it, busy with a 3-second time play, so that's going to be absolutely crucial. So if Chandler busy, he might get that due to that track penalty, but that depends if Chandler gets one. Right now isn't the case, but Chandler just within the fringes of DRS. I think it might get it here.
I think he will. It's going to be close, but I think he's going to get it. Rightfully so. Chandler is now in the DRS range of Ferrari, not in the Ferrari. Quite ironic. Of Sanchez. Sanchez going far right, trying to block and just break that slipstream, that toe going down the turn one. The only overtaking point really with DRS on this circuit, unless you send it somewhere, especially through that chicane, as Kevin and Raptor go at it, and they swap positions. So Kevin ahead of Raptor, and Vizzy still close enough to Sanchez, just could not make a move. But Chandler is there. There's no more contemplating if he hits DRS. He is right there on Ferrari, not in the Ferrari, right in front of him. And, well, in a couple seconds' time, he could be on the back of that Ferrari.
Right now, there's not much separating those two, as Vizzy might be struggling a little bit here. He's nearly dropped out of the DRS Sanchez, and pretty much has, actually. So Vizzy might be struggling a little bit, and that is going to open the eyes of Ferrari and Chandler right now. But it's just a matter of when they can overtake. Obviously, turn one will be the best way. But if they lose this DRS from Sanchez, that's going to hurt them.
It is indeed. And right now, Vizzy may be struggling a bit with his tires, as well as that track limits as well. He already has that 3-second time penalty applied. So if the quicker that Chandler and Ferrari Nut, for that nature, can get through on Vizzy, the quicker they can try to catch up and stay with Sanchez. But Vizzy right now is actually kept within that DRS range of Sanchez ahead. But meanwhile, Skither has absolutely gone away. About a second gain from last time we saw it. Probably because of that mistake from Sanchez in the first sector a couple of laps ago. But Vizzy is now in the DRS range. Ferrari Nut is as well. Chandler's about 5/10 off of that Ferrari, but just not much you could do with everyone else having that DRS around him. Vizzy getting close, just not close enough. But Jack is getting really close, and he's gotten through on both Alfa Romeos. He's up to 6 now. The Mercedes are charging through. The constructors may not be out of reach yet.
I was just about to mention that, Jack, actually, is he made a move on Raptor going into Spoon, which is not really a place where you see an overtake. So Jack clearly has the pace right now. It's just a matter of if he can catch up to the back of the pack. But yeah, dispatching the 2 Alfa Romeos, he's looking pretty pacey at this stage as he sets the fastest sector 1. So he's definitely playing a crucial role in this for the constructors. But meanwhile, further back, Roscoe's gone off. And he's lost his front wing.
Yes, he has. So that will be a yellow flag in that sector for a bit. Thankfully for the rest of the drivers, especially Chandler. Actually, I'm not sure if you're in Chandler's position, if you do want a safety car or not, because now you have a chance to just get on with it, really. But now he's gotten really close to the back of Ferrari Nut into the chicane hairpin, I should rather say, a couple seconds ago. But Ferrari Nut is getting real close to Vizzy as well. So Vizzy right now struggling once again, trying his best to stay with Sanchez, just not much. And Jack wants.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm trying to get him back in.
So now, Sanchez getting closing in on a little bit through into the the bus stop there by Vizzy. Ferrari Nut still kind of closing in. It's just the DRS train now of Suzuka. You can't really make many overtakes because, well, everyone else around you has that DRS as well. And kind of equal playing fields. Plus that DRS doesn't really do much whenever you have this dirty air sector, as you may recall it, through the first sector. So, I mean, all that time you just gained pretty much just goes right away, right after you gained it.
Yeah, it definitely does. And once again, it's just a matter of playing patience as they always need to. Vizzy just within the fringes of that DRS. And, well, he definitely doesn't want to have that rear wing full of a Ferrari and a Mercedes right now. But that is the case as it stands. 3 people in the pits, by the way. That being Roscoe, obviously without that front wing. Wexro went into the pits, and Fern also into the pits as well. So their race has been absolutely compromised.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if Fern is still in the session or not, which probably isn't. But regardless, he has yet to actually stop, so that's his one stop done. He now comes out on the softs, and we'll have to kind of regroup from there. But his AI, once again, probably will not be classified if he is not in the session. But we'll have to find out at the exit.
Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
Waxer went around that turn 1. I just caught that. They're just getting across out of the pits.
Hold up here. Vizzy's really close. Or I'm sorry, Ferrari Nut's really close to the back of Vizzy. Almost in the back of him. Chandler's going to get trapped around. Around goes Chandler, and that pretty much erases every hope that he had of clinching this championship here tonight. Contact between himself and Ferrari Nut. That'll send him spinning and right behind the Alfa Romeos again.
He's clearly losing his patience right now because he knows where he needs to be, and that's not what he wants. Meanwhile, the two Alfa Romeos in front of him have swapped once again. Those two are just absolutely battling out. This time, Rap has gone ahead of Kevin, but this is not what Chandler wanted at all. In the race where he could grab the championship, he's thrown it all away.
Well, there's still a decent amount left to go. We're on lap 18 of 27. We've completed 18. 19 is what the technical lap we're on. But right now, with that being said, we have about 9 laps to go. And, well, at the moment, it's not going well for Chandler. And Skither will carry this championship on Dakota a week from now.
That is definitely the side that Skither wanted to see. So, as long as he just stays where he is, Chandler doesn't really move anywhere. That's exactly crucial. Wexler with 10 seconds. Not sure what's happened to the Haas there. He hasn't really crashed anywhere, so... interesting. Moving on to this? I don't know.
Well, Chandler's right on the back of Kevin. He may try to make this move stick because he has that luxury to do so. He has plenty of battery down the inside of 130 yard, and he'll make that move quick and easy. So Chandler up, was very close to the back, actually. Kevin not quite ready to give it up, but he has to now. But Chandler's now close to Raptor, who has 4.2 seconds ahead of him to Ferrari Nut once again. Chandler squirming in the exit of the final corner. With the DRS, he'll have the battery deployment on his favor, as well as the drag reduction system. And back to fifth Chandler goes, but it's what could have been, really, because now he's 4.2 seconds behind Ferrari Nut instead of 4/10.
Obviously, before when he was making a move on Raptor, he didn't go for that move, but obviously since he would have that DRS, he made it on Kevin, and dispatching those two Alfa Romeos as a matter of just a couple of seconds, that's exactly what he would have wanted, but yeah, just way off of the drivers in front of him. He's going to need a miracle if he can manage to get back up onto the podium places. Meanwhile, yellow flag, and Wexler's going around once again.
Well, keep in mind, because obviously Vizzy still has that 3-second time penalty, so Chandler could take note of that, try to get in that penalty window, and if he does, then that'll put him provisionally up to 4th. Roscoe gets the fastest lap. That takes it off of Skither, which is crucial, because if Skither does not get the fastest lap, and Chandler can find a way up past Ferrari Nut and get on the podium, that is championship. Maybe it's not all the way done. Wexler is now out, and that's a virtual safety car. Chandler wishes that was a full.
It's interesting how that's a virtual, actually, because Wexler retired into the pits, so I'm not sure what's up there, but yeah, Chandler definitely wishing that that was a full course safety car, which definitely isn't going to be the case. But that is definitely going to be a sight that Skither will want to see, because if that was a safety car, that would absolutely diminish the gap that he's got to Sanchez and absolutely maybe ruin his chances of continuing the title fight. But that isn't the case, so he's okay.
Now, hold up. Chandler has gained a significant amount of time on Ferrari Nut and these guys in front of him. What's gone on here? He's gained about 2-3 seconds on the virtual safety car. It looks like he's up on his delta.
I think that might be
only just, and he may have just lost it.
I think that was a matter of Sanchez minding his delta, possibly trying to get the jump off of the virtual, which has been the case. So he's just under 4 seconds behind. So I think Sanchez might have been just doing that to get the jump from the drivers behind him, but obviously that hasn't happened. But one thing's for sure, Chandler's got the jump on the guys in front of him. He's gained around a second.
Yes, he has. And actually, by the way, by doing that, Chandler is now within the penalty window of Izzy. So, Chandler at the moment is provisional P4. So if he can get ahead of Ferrari Nut, either off track or on track, preferably he would love it on track, that may be the championship done and dusted, because right now you can look at the fastest lap at the Grand Prix. Right there, Roscoe at 30.0. Actually not too far adrift from what Skither has.
Yeah, he just needs to find around just over 300 if he wants to grab that fastest lap, which would prove crucial in this. It's just a matter of when he can, or if his tires can hold up, which might not be the case, but we'll have to find out. But everyone just kind of staying stationary as of right now, not really anybody making any moves, but busy getting closer to the back of Sanchez. Not able to do anything, though.
Well, right now, it's crucial for Skidler to keep going as fast as he possibly can while keeping his tires in check. Chandler's closing in a bit. Back to the interval, we see 1.8 seconds, the gap between him and Ferrari Nut, so he's closed the gap a bit more. And, well, he's not too far away. He's definitely closed it in compared to when he first got through on both Alfa Romeos. About 4.2 was the original gap. It's down to 1.5 now. So if you can get through on Ferrari Nut, get ahead of Vizzy, either on track or off, once again, that could be the battle right there. So tactics are being played here. What do you do if you're Chandler? Sanchez, at this point, is just kind of actually helping Chandler.
Yeah, it's obviously Sanchez not quite up to the pace of Chandler's. Chandler's really finding time through Sector 1 and Sector 2. But obviously, the slipstream not playing a factor in terms of him catching up. But yeah, Sanchez just staying in front of these guys, which is kind of backing him up into him. And he's he's close, but not quite, to getting DRS around just half a second off. But he is gaining. Oh, he's spun around actually! He's touched the grass before the chicane!
It's all unraveled again. Mistakes creeping in. The intensity of the situation. He's won races before. He's won a championship before. But this race in particular, has proven to be a little too much for Chandler. A man who's actually dominated most of this season anyway. It's just not meant to be at Suzuka.
Clearly just trying to find as much time as possible, but just not able to convert it. Just that grass unsettling his car, and that's not what he wanted. Sanchez with a 3-second time penalty. Knows the Ferrari Nut is now provisionally P2. If Raptor closes onto these guys, he could potentially be P3, but right now, what you're looking at for a podium is Skidler, Ferrari Nut, Sanchez.
And Chandler will absolutely be furious, because if he would have known that, he would not have pushed so hard. Because Sanchez now got a penalty after the spinning Chandler. And, well, now instead of Chandler possibly being on threat for maybe a P3 with that Sanchez penalty, he's on threat for maybe a P6 at most.
Yeah, just that pressure possibly getting to him because he knows what is at stake. And obviously it has not come, and obviously it's converted into just one too many mistakes for him. By the way, further up front, for right now, all over the back of Vizzy. Vizzy just barely within the DRS. Essentially, so he makes a mistake and actually cuts the corner. He's cut the chicane, and that is definitely going to be a warning. But he still has the DRS. But Vizzy struggling once again.
That may be a little time gain from Vizzy, because obviously Ferrari Nut was right there. It was honestly pretty close enough, maybe even thinking about making that move going out into turn 1. Vizzy stays ahead though, and will stay behind Sanchez. But right now Ferrari Nut at the moment, like you said, is going to be provisionally on track P2. So if he can just stay here, he'll grab himself a podium and the second step of said podium. Skidler though, right now riding away almost 5 seconds ahead of Sanchez, the nearest car. Yellow flag, and Chandler is out of the Grand Prix. That is absolutely what Skidler needs, because now if he can grab fastest lap, that is not only a simple amount of points gained on Chandler, that may be enough to maybe take the championship to Brazil, if he can hold it on.
Absolute dismay for the
Safety
Mercedes,
car.
and that is
Now hold up.
definitely,
It's not over yet.
that is definitely a 2-lap dash to the end. And I believe everybody will pay on to a set of stops, so we're going to have a 2-lap dash. He can stand Onium in this race.
Now, it's not over yet, because if something were to go disarray and were to not finish the race, he would still be classified. He will be at most, I believe, P8. I think maybe even P7 if it depends on the classification with Jack. But I think he'll be outclassified from Fern. If that happens, he still can gain points on Chandler. So he just needs to keep it on the road, and if he can keep it in first, that's the second goal as well. Obviously, that is probably what he wants more than a championship, is this Grand Prix victory. But in the scheme of things, one outweighs the other.
Yeah, it definitely does, and crucially, obviously, everyone behind him has pitted, so everyone behind him is on a fresh set of softs, but as he has been he's going to be one of the fastest guys out on track with the soft compounded tires. So that is exactly what he wanted. And mostly everyone's saying the same, but I know a couple of people that is very, very mad about this safety car, and that is Sanchez and Busy, because they were way ahead of Raptor and Kevin. They were not within that 3-second window. But now with this, Raptor and Kevin, they can gain 2 positions as long as they stay within that 3-second.
Well then, Raptor and Kevin can absolutely make it a double Alfa Romeo podium if they can try it, because obviously Jack will not most likely be classified, even if he is classified. Those 16-lap all mediums, and he's not in the lobby. That will probably make it a little bit of a difficulty for that Mercedes to stay right there. Ferrari Nut could very well get a penalty post-race, but he very well cannot. So at the moment, he is on par and on pace for a podium. Skither right now is just wanting this victory more than ever, at least get the 11 points, but the victory is more important, I think, at right now in the short term. We'll see how that plays out for him. But Fizzy 3rd, Ferrari Nut 4th, Jack 5th, with both Alfa Romeos, Raptor ahead of Kevin, and, Roscoe down in 9th, with Fern, I believe, still not in the session as well. And the safety car will be in this lap, which means we will not have DRS. So it will be a straight 2-lap dash to the finish. No DRS, just raw speed.
Yeah, and speed is definitely what Skidder has had, so as long as he gets the jump, he should easily have this, but it's just a matter of him not making a mistake. When does he go, though, is the question. Is he going to try and catch everybody out, or is he going to have everyone stay behind him? Well, he's gone now, and I believe not everyone's been caught out by this, so that is crucial. Race is now resumed. Sanchez, though, is in the slipstream of Skidder. Is going to try and make a move into turn 1, not quite. He's going to have to stay behind. Everyone relatively staying the same, except for Raptor, as Raptor's gotten past Jack. Same with Kevin, so the 2 Alfa Romeos benefiting out of this, and that is absolutely what they want if they could possibly try and grab a podium.
Absolutely. Right now, Skidder got a decent start. Busy's trying to stay in as fast as he possibly can. Ferrari Nut was really close to possibly thinking about a move on Busy in a turn 1. That would have really helped him out in the long run, but it really would have not changed anything, because he still would have theoretically been on the podium regardless, as long as he does not get a 3-second time penalty in the next lap and a half. Roscoe gets past Jack's AI. He's up to 7th. So now it's going to be Ferrari Nut chasing down Busy, but Sanchez is the last hope for anyone, really, as he's the closest for Skidder, but he still has that 3-second time penalty. Can Sanchez get there on track and win? It's going to be difficult because, well, theoretically right now, it wouldn't matter, because Skidder still has no time penalties. Sanchez has a 3-second. One more time around. We'll go into 130R for the second to last time at the penultimate corner for the second to last time. We'll find out who has what it takes to win here at Suzuka. It was a race that really was up and down, and for a moment looked like it would have gone the way of Chandler, but Skidder's withstood that pressure up until now. One final time, or 1 lap to go here at Suzuka.
He's kind of breaking the toe a little bit down into 130R. Sanchez has that slipstream, and he's using everything he can to try and close out to Skidder, but obviously that straight and not having DRS is proving crucial for Skidder. As long as he just stays ahead, he's pretty much got this, and as long as he doesn't get a 3 seconds. So all he needs to do is keep it on the track, and he's basically got this.
Yes, he does. Only 2 more sectors to go, and Skidder could be a 3-time Grand Prix champion here in Tier 1. Purple Sector 1 for Sanchez. He's not giving it away yet, but Skidder gained a bit through the first sector. He could be going on a second gas for that fastest lap. Skidder playing every game he has, but he doesn't need to really play anymore. His pace is pretty much carrying him all the way through. Only 1 and a bit more sectors to go. Can Skidder hold on as long as he can? He doesn't have to worry about it. As long as he finishes in the top, 5, this championship will continue on Dakota, and I don't think that's a worry for him at all. Skidder down into 130R for the final time. He's had utmost pressure. He just got the fastest second sector. He had a goal in mind. Just outscored Chandler by 11 points and take it to Dakota. Well, he has definitely taken it to Dakota indeed, because Skidder comes across the line and wins the Japanese Grand Prix and takes fastest lap at go as well. Ferrari Nut second, Raptor third. Wow, what a race, up and down, but Skither holds on.
Absolutely crucial for the Haas. Again, one of the only drivers to take a win from Chandler. He's done exactly that. Raptor with the driver of the day, starting from 11th. He's grabbed third. Great race for him. And Ferrari Nut in second, bit of a quiet one, but I think the quiet one he would have wanted, but Skither proving exactly why he's here, grabbing the win and grabbing maximum points when Chandler was down and out.
And that's absolutely what he needed to do. On Dakota then for the Haas team, for Skither, and for everyone in the Constructors' Championship. No championships were locked here tonight, but now, 2 rounds to go. It's time to do it. Who has what it takes? Chandler or Skither? Haas, Mercedes. There's still even a lot more teams to go at it then. But the Japanese Grand Prix has done and dusted. Classification arose, and Skither answered the call. Skither wins the Japanese Grand Prix for his 3rd victory in Tier 1. Ferrari Nut to 2nd after a little bit of controversy, but not of his own accord. Contact with Chandler, spinning him around. Raptor to 3rd. He grabs the Alt-Strat and driver of the day, but why not the Alt-Strat? I mean, 11th to 3rd, good enough for him. Sanchez was on the podium. He finishes 4th with that 3-second time penalty. Kevin to 5th. Busy to 6th. Roscoe to 7th. Jack in 8th. And there's the rest. We lost a couple of drivers. Feta, Edu, Wexler, Chandler, and Fern from the Japanese Grand Prix. And, well then, what a one it was.
Yeah, it definitely was. I believe we're just waiting on Raptor to join us. It's just a matter of him trying to join, but we've got the top 2 here for us in the booth. We're just waiting on our 3rd place finisher. I'll try and get him a message.
While you do that, I might as well try and restart the game and get to the showroom.
Yeah, you do that. Not sure if he's gotten the invite or not. Not sure if he's joining us or not, but I think we can just immediately start off right away with Ferrari Nut for second. Be sure to include your audio, guys, by the way, in order for everyone to hear your voice. But Ferrari Nut, pretty quiet race from you, needless to say, starting in 7th and just sticking with that pack all the way through to the end. That safety car not really doing anything bad for you, and obviously with those 3 seconds from Sanchez and Vizzy, well, you managed to grab 2nd place. Tell us your thoughts on that race.
Yeah, just a really overall quiet night. Had a little unfortunate little bump and grind there with Chandler. I'd locked up trying to stay right on the back of Vizzy's gearbox going into the chicane, and I just locked up the inside front and slid a little wide and tried to cut back, and I don't know why he didn't wait, because there was no way that was going to work out any different, but tagged him and he spun around. I'm sorry that happened, but that, in my opinion, that was a racing deal, so carried on and I was actually going to try and let him by because I knew he was much faster than me, and he probably would have been able to get those 2 out of the way and maybe I could follow him through. But yeah, just most of the race just stuck behind those 2, and I feel like maybe if I wasn't stuck behind them, I might have had something for Scissor up front. I was kind of hoping he maybe had a 3-second penalty there at the end, because I knew if I could just keep it close to Vizzy that there was no way that he was going to be able to pull 3 seconds on all of us. So close but no cigar. I needed him to have a penalty. He was 2.7 ahead at the end. So, but yeah, unfortunate little incident there. Not really anything I could do about that. Just trying to recover the car from that lockup, and didn't leave the racing surface. Was pretty much right smack in the middle of the track, and that's the Casio triangle for you. You can't try stuff like that when a guy in front of you locks up. You just kind of got to be patient.
Yeah, patience definitely was the goal, and well, you managed to keep it patient, and you managed to grab a 2nd place, your first podium this season, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Next week, though, we go on to the U.S. Grand Prix. Do you think you could possibly try and translate that again?
Well, that is going to depend upon a lot of things. I'm probably going to have to miss the last 2 races of this season in both series that I'm in, which is unfortunate. It's a work thing. So this may be my final race for a while, or possibly even permanently. So, I guess it's a good way to go out, is, on a high.
Yeah, definitely. That's obviously very unfortunate, but needless to say, still a podium finish, a second place finish. So very well done to you. Katra, do you have any questions for Arena?
Nope, we're all good. Congratulations on your P2.
By the way, that was with 88 wings and a 54 brake bias, so get wrecked.
A bit of shade being thrown there, I think. I don't know.
Well then, to P1, Skither, it was pretty much all you had to do. You came in 11 points back from pretty much getting cut off and eliminated from that championship. And, well, you had one goal in mind, I'm pretty sure, because, everyone wants to win that championship. You went through and coped brilliantly. Congratulations on your victory in the Japanese Grand Prix. Walk us through what happened.
Thank you. Yeah, it is very close. I do need to try and win, or at least get second place in the rest of these races if I want to have a chance at winning the title. So, yeah, but at the start of this race, I was just trying to pull the train along, make sure that we could go like as quickly as possible, because I did not want like a whole train of like 10 cars to be behind us, and that would just make it really hard at the end because everyone's just going to be fighting and trying to overtake. So that, I think I was able to do that pretty well with Chandler and Sanchez. And the rest of that stint, after the first pit stops, I just used all my battery and tried to pull away from Sanchez, and from there on it was pretty much just keep doing what I was doing and try to manage the gap, because I'm pretty sure the gap was about 3 seconds before the VSC and the safety car. So yeah, and after the safety car towards the end, I was just trying to manage my battery for the last lap to make sure that I had as much battery as possible so that I could defend from Sanchez and Ferrari up behind me, and that worked out pretty well for me.
It did indeed. And, well, obviously that's now your third win on the season. 2 races left to go. Coda and Brazil and Sao Paulo. You have a chance now with that championship gap coming down. You got the full house of points, 26 to yourself, and, well, Chandler got none. So, that now is 26 points closer. What do you think you could do? 63 points going in, and, well, after those 26, 37 going out. And with those 2 races, that's not that bad of a gap.
It is not that bad of a gap, and I do think I can win, or at least get on the podium in these next few races, because they are my strongest tracks. So I do have the best chance at trying to beat Chandler here, but I don't know. He's strong. He's always going to come back and have an insane amount of pace, so it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough indeed, and that's obviously how the cookie crumbles. But right now, the cookie crumbled in favor of you at the Japanese Grand Prix with your third victory, and you actually take the championship on Dakota. So congratulations once again on your victory.
Thank you.
Well then, that wraps it up pretty much for myself here. And thanks to myself and Miniko, obviously, and the entire Tier 1 championship for what we saw on tonight. And, well, for us in BRL, it's a special week. And why is everyone joining? God out, Feta.
I mean, Raptor just joined. I mean, we might as well interview him now.
Here, so.
Raptor 2.
I mean, hey, we can't forget about the guy.
You know what, at this point...
P3 interview,
okay,
go.
at this point...
Oh my, we're getting invaded.
Okay, you know what? We gotta start this. We gotta wrap this thing up.
This is giving me major flashbacks.
So, let's just say, no. So basically,
can I just say Chandler Zeta 1 is the biggest bottle of all time?
Oh my god!
Okay, can you not? As the North American League, the next week for us, the entire weekend is special indeed. The American Grand Prix up, so don't make sure you do not miss it. Do not miss the incredible action that will happen for 2 rounds to go for Tier 4, Tier 3, Tier 2, and Tier 1, as well as Realistic as we wrap things down. Chandler, go away. But for myself, hey, Katra, Miniko, and the entire BRL, apparently, because they all joined the lobby in the last 3 seconds of the